Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show a short video on a few peripherals and fixes for the moss farm I put out a while ago. I'm sorry that it kind of took this long. I think I said to at least one person that I had to get it out soon, and that was about several months ago. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Now to begin with the building, first we're going to look at the materials for it. These aren't really specifically exact amounts for the most part, but just kind of to give an idea. This first row is really for collecting the bone meal outside of the farm itself, as well as just building blocks for support structures and stuff. These quantities should be fine, so you need one redstone repeater, one dropper, one sticky piston, and two observers. You're going to need as many signs and ice as you really need for junctions and water streams. The second one is for a fix with the starting and stopping system of the farm. Everything should be pretty much in exact quantities, excluding the redstone dust. If you've already built the farm, you might not need a dust at all. And it should be around 5, I'm not certain about the specific amounts. And it also is excluding building blocks, which are just going to up here for now. And then the last one is for kind of a quick way to collect moss from the farm. Fairly simple. Basically all of the pieces you need. This moss carpet can be replaced with any sort of like slab, trapdoor, or other kind of carpet that you want, unless you're not thinking about kind of worrying about aesthetics, in which case you don't really need it. To make a transportation system for the bone meal, simply come into the bottom of the farm and remove these 3 composters and these 2 hoppers. Note, the way I've built this farm here is 1 level higher than in the original tutorial, so you may need to dig down for some of these steps. Once these are clear, you want to place down a dropper. That's not a dropper. Place down a dropper facing up, and then a comparator facing into its side, preferably away from the direction that you want to take the bone meal out. Then you're going to place a piston 1 below it, and an observer facing into it, with another observer facing towards it and above the dispenser, or dropper, rather. Now, because of quasi-connectivity, this observer will actually activate this dropper, and you do not need to place a block on top of it. In fact, you do not want a block on top of it. Instead, you want to put a block 1 above and 1 to the side, and then 1 in front of it, between it and the hopper. Then, from here, you're going to lay out the path that you want the bone meal to take in the water stream, and build it up. And then finally you're going to place your water stream and take it wherever you want to go. Once you have turned on the farm, you'll likely notice that at first you will not get bone meal within these chests, or wherever you decide to put the storage. This is perfectly normal and a result of the system and how it removes bone meal to replenish itself. In particular, the hopper that you have left behind will initially prioritize taking bone meal into the system until it fills up to full capacity. Only then will bone meal begin to flow out of the system into your storage. Although there is no real intention for collecting moss of this farm, there are in fact several ways to do this. In all cases, you should probably begin by building a small platform in order to access the moss pad of the farm. Since the switch is about to be moved for convenience up to the platform top, now would be a good time to include an important fix for the farm. In the current version, this piston is what is used to turn the farm on and off. However, due to its nature, this will sometimes cause the pistons in the farm itself to repeatedly fire, leading to cobblestone generation. To resolve this, instead of turning off the clock by removing this block, we will instead be locking it by repeater. In order to put the lever in the platform, first we are going to remove a single block and replace it with a lamp, just as a simple indicator of whether or not the farm is on, and place the lever above. Then below, we are going to simply put on a sticky piston with a redstone block attached to it. Since we want the lever to be in the off position when the farm itself is off, we want to make sure that the redstone block is conducting redstone away when it is in the raised position. Make sure to replace the block that was originally pushed by the piston. Without it, the clock will not run when you turn the farm on or off. At this point, the player may be able to collect moss products by simply running around on the inside of the farm. This may be sufficient for you if you only need them in small quantities and are more concerned by bone meal. However, there is another way to collect even more in the case of someone more interested in the moss products. In this case, simply break out the blocks right in front of the barrels, and lower them down by one block so they are resting against the hoppers. And then simply cover them with a piece of redstone. Once this line is activated, it will lock the hoppers, allowing items to fill up into the barrels. Also, make sure that the end block is replaced with a slab so there is no sort of conducting between it and the system that turns the farm on and off. And for aesthetics, cover the redstone with a copper of your choice. Simply turning this system on and off is just as easy as adding another lever. However, again for ease, you can put a lamp or some other indicator to make sure that you know when you are in the moss collection mode. Of course, one may take the collection idea of moss even further, and simply tear out all of the hoppers in front, and use item streams to carry away all of the products to a storage system, as demonstrated here. If you want to keep the farm self-sufficient, it is required to have some sort of composting set up somewhere. In general, I would recommend having only 2 or 3 composters running at the same time, as that appears to be enough to keep up with the farm. And, of course, I do encourage people to still play around with this farm. It is definitely not a final design. For example, I believe in the last video I mentioned that it can't be tiled in any sort of way. However, in this case, I did manage to put 4 of the modules together into one larger farm that produces about 8,800 bone meal per hour. Ha. Almost at 88,000. Not that much, unfortunately. Alright, that should be it for moss farms to me. If you have any questions, do make sure to leave a comment below, and also make sure to check the description for any updates or any sort of issues or fixes that may come along. Thank you!